Hello class. Today I want to talk to you about Hannah Caldwell. She was a preacher's wife from New Jersey, and I can identify with her because I am a preacher's wife from New Jersey. In fact, I'm speaking to you today from Milmay Christian Church here in Milmay, New Jersey. And even though we're not a Presbyterian church like Hannah's was, our roots are in the Second Great Awakening, and many of the initiators of our movement came from the Presbyterian church. But that's not the only reason why I identify with Hannah. Hannah was a mother. She had 9 children. I only had 4, but I had 4 children in 6 years, and so I know what it's like to try to protect and care for a slew of young ones all at one time. And no doubt that's how Hannah felt sometimes. Well, Hannah married James Caldwell, a Presbyterian minister, and they settled in Elizabethtown, New Jersey, just before the war broke out, and her husband James was a patriot, an outspoken patriot, in fact, as many of the Presbyterian preachers were at that time. It is said that he kept a couple of loaded pistols at the pulpit when he preached, just in case something happened. And of course, you know, when the war broke out, you couldn't hold him back, and he couldn't wait to join in, and he became a chaplain for the Continental Forces in New York and in New Jersey. And actually, when he left, his home and his church building became a makeshift hospital for the Continental Army until the British came through in January of 1780 and burned both buildings to the ground. So the family was homeless, and James and Hannah had to move a little bit further into a place called Connecticut Farms. And that is where tragedy struck in June of 1780. At this point in the war, things were slowing down in the north but heating up in the south. But there was still a Hessian commander coming through, hot on the trail of George Washington's army, and he landed in Elizabethtown, New Jersey, and he made it very, very close to where the Caldwell family was. In fact, it looks like they knew that the Hessians were on their way, and so some of the family members left. 7 of the children were taken away to another place, but Hannah, for some reason, decided that she wanted to stay in the house. Obviously, she didn't think that there was any threat to her or the safety of her children. She kept 2 back with her, a 4-year-old son and an 8-month-old daughter who was sick. And I have a feeling that that's probably why she stayed back, so that her little girl could have the comforts of home while she's trying to get better. Along with them was the family's nurse and a little girl named Abigail, who was staying with the family during the war. In preparation for the soldiers coming through, Hannah kind of hid all of the family valuables in the well, and then she took some jewelry and some precious items that she had and stuffed them in her pockets of her dress. Obviously, she did not expect that there would be any kind of foul play, that if there were soldiers that came through, they might rifle through the house, but they would not harm her, nor would they harm her children. In fact, a couple other reports said that she repeatedly said, "They will respect a mother." So she went to one room with the rest of the people there, her 2 children, Abigail and the nurse, and they waited it out. And things were going okay until a stray musket ball, maybe stray, maybe not stray, burst through the window. It struck Hannah, and she died immediately. And so not long after, the soldiers came through, and it says that they ripped through her dress, and they took what she had, and they pulled the body off the bed, and then they burned the house to the ground. Ostensibly, they would have burned the body with it, but some neighbors hurriedly came in and removed the body before that happened. The big question was, why did this happen? Why did she get shot? Was it an accident, or was it by design? Was she targeted by the British? That's the question. The deposition by little Abigail, she said that she had seen a man in a red coat who was short and stocky. He approached the house and pulled out a musket and fired. So it seems pretty obvious that she was shot on purpose. But as soon as that story came out and the Americans got all upset about it, the British had their own version of events, and they said that the musket ball was probably stray, and most likely it was from the American militia itself. Ugh, it didn't calm things down at all. But we don't know what really happened. It is true, though, that whether it happened or not on purpose, it is true that the Presbyterians were sometimes marked out for especially rough treatment, and that sometimes the preachers were targeted. Obviously, they didn't have any problem burning down their house or their church building before, and they didn't have a problem doing it again. It has also been said that the British actually looked at the Presbyterians as though they were the ones who were responsible for this rebellious spirit in America. And so normally if they captured a chaplain, they would give him respect, but if it were a Presbyterian chaplain, they would mark him out for especially brutal treatment. Now, we don't know, but regardless, Hannah's memory deserves our respect and our gratitude because of what she gave up for her country. She was willing to give up her home and the safety of her children. She was willing to give up her husband from time to time because of him being away with the army. But more than anything, she gave up her life for the cause, and she should be remembered.